Thank you all for tuning in to the next episode of I Was Thinking with Robbie McElhaney. Appreciate you joining us for the week following the 4th of July, which is what we're going to be talking about today. A little bit of a different episode. We are not going to talk sports today. May come as a shock to my producer when she listens to this, because we had a topic and I'm sleeping last night and I'm like, you know what? We need to talk about America. We need to have some necessary uncomfortable conversations, maybe, but we're going to talk about America. First things first, as always, make sure you follow us on our social medias. I appreciate you doing that as we get our stats on Facebook, and really appreciate you turning out there and viewing the episodes through the links on Facebook. Also, listening wherever you get your podcasts. Really appreciate you doing that. Big news. We'll save the big news for the end of the episode, but stay tuned. Make sure you listen or watch through the entirety of the episode. Find out some big news. The 4th of July. I think we'll start on a light note and kind of build up to some necessary and maybe for some people uncomfortable conversations. I think they're just necessary, and sometimes necessity leads to discomfort, but necessary, uncomfortable conversations probably going to be had. But let's start with a 4th of July recap. I hope you had a great 4th. Big America 250 and all. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got out in the day. I know in our neck of the woods, it was a good majority of the day, and then we had some torrential downpours and big storms, but then those quickly moved out of the way and led to a very nice evening. For us, it was a whole weekend, which I really enjoyed. And that was something kind of unique and cool that I, for one, thought we took pretty good advantage of, was the 4th being over the weekend. Big celebratory situation. I got out of work early on Friday, was able to meet Kate and our friend. I don't want to name drop names because I don't know who's comfortable and uncomfortable, but we met our friend and her family over at Hampton Township for the Hampton Community Days. Saw the Clarks. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, you know the Clarks. You'll hopefully love the Clarks. I don't know if you can dislike, love, hate. I don't know. They're the Clarks. They're the Clarks. But got to go there, see their fireworks show. Really nice night. I love a good food truck event on the 4th of July weekend. You get out there to tell me there's something more just Americana than that. But really nice evening. I was a little bit tired, had a 10-hour work day. But really glad we got to start the weekend off with some nice patriotic celebrations in Hampton Township. Very quickly fast forward to the next morning, woke up on the 4th of July, feeling free, feeling dangerous, went to the Midland 4th of July celebration, and their parade. Great. First off, somehow, some way, this was my first 4th of July parade in any capacity, whether it be Midland, Pittsburgh, whoever has 4th of July parades. This was my first one, at least that I can remember. I'm sure some family member will correct me on that, but the first 4th of July parade that I can remember going to, and I'm glad it was Midland. Honestly, they had a great turnout, a really nice parade, really well put together, and I know they've been doing it for forever and it's always talked about. But to see it was great. You got to hang out with some friends, see some people that we don't get to see all the time. So really glad to get out there. Spent some time at the Serbian Club down in Midland. Much fun had by all. Then we went to their park and they had like a little carnival, or not the park, behind Lincoln Park. So that's where I was thinking park, I guess. But we got to hang out there, take in some more food trucks, enjoy some live music, loosely enjoy. It was hot. I mean, here's the thing. We're coming off of the heat wave. I think now I don't think we're still in the heat wave, but last week was freaking hot. So whilst it made it a little bit difficult to enjoy the day, it was great. I'm never in a tank top. I was rocking the tank top and the Birkenstocks. in the name of all that is free, just trying to stay comfortable. But got to do that, and also through this, I'm sure there, probably towards the back half of this, we'll put some videos in there, maybe. But just a really good day. Just a really good day. We got to, as we were sitting there, some storms started rolling in. So I told Kate, hey, I think, why don't we go cool down for a little bit? We were staying at my parents' house down in Beaver County. But why don't we go to the house, cool off for a little bit? And then we were meeting some friends for dinner. And we went back to their house to watch fireworks. Really great evening with some great people and some great friends. Getting to meet some new people and be around some people that I haven't seen in a while. So, really great day. What better way to celebrate the 4th? I think so often, and maybe we'll come back to this, we get so caught up in the America, 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 which personality trait of mine is America. So, but I think what better way to celebrate the 4th than to just be around people, that you don't see often, and just spend some good time together and talk about where you've come from and where you've been and what you've done. That was a really nice evening, and I know me and Kate both really enjoyed that day. Next night, the day wasn't we meal prepped. I'm on a big meal prep kick. This week was teriyaki salmon bowls with brown rice and quinoa. I still don't really know what quinoa is, but it's a thing. I don't know what it is. It is what it is. Salmon, obviously, threw some broccoli and some black beans in there. I forget what the other edamame, maybe. I had a great grandmother named Etta. I don't know if that goes with edamame, but fun fact. I don't know what some of these vegetables are, and we are on something maybe we'll talk about as we go with the show. We are on a weight loss journey. Starting off very strong, very proud of that. But I don't. People get upset, rightfully so, when you get these processed foods and you can't pronounce the ingredients. But then you get onto these health kicks and these diets, and you can't pronounce these vegetables. And if you can pronounce them and sound them out, I don't know what the hell they are. But I like my broccoli. I like the brown rice and quinoa. And I like salmon. And then I made a teriyaki sauce. Really enjoyed that. I'm going to have one here in a little bit at lunchtime. I'm off today. It's Thursday. We're recording for the first time ever, I think the same day that we're posting. So I'm going to have lunch here in a little bit. I'm going to have my salmon bowl. Very excited about that. I don't know where we were. Sunday, we were meal prepping. And then Sunday night, one thing I love about I can't say one of the few things, but one of the limited list of things we'll say, that I've enjoyed since moving up to the North Hills here, and being around some different parts of Allegheny County is what the Allegheny County Parks Commission does. They have concerts and movies in the park and different things. We went to Heartwood Acres Amphitheater and watched the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra and a drone show. Really good performances by both. And we will clip to some videos, just consecutive line now.
Lincoln, 16th President of these United States, is everlasting in the memory of his countrymen. For on the battleground at Gettysburg, this is what he said. He said that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, and that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties. Sing this.
but all in all, I mean, phenomenal performances. This is my first drone show, and I think it was what I was expecting, but in some capacity, it was still just really cool to see. I don't know. Hope you enjoyed some of those clips there. And then we went back to work, left to think about America being 250 years old. And we'll kind of talk about some of my thoughts on the American experience and American project. Experiment, I'll say. I think that's what the proper vernacular is, so we'll call it that, the American experiment. We'll talk about here in a minute, but just thinking back on 29 4th of July, it's not that I remember all 29, but some favorite memories of mine. Obviously, where I'm sitting in our living room, I'm looking at, we have a wall of photos behind the camera here. Probably memory number one, I got engaged on the 4th of July. Very well executed plan, might I add. Very minimal of it was my doing. I just stressed. But probably memory number one is getting engaged. But then you go back to, you get back to some things from childhood and camping and going to my grandparents and just things of that nature. I mean, what better time in summertime? It's all these things. Really cool, really great experiences had. Love the 4th of July. Now for those necessary and uncomfortable conversations. I don't know. I think we need to talk about America. We need to talk about America. I'm going to give my opinions. These are strictly my opinions. Take them for what they're worth as just being the opinion of Robert McElhaney. No matter what state we're in as a country, we are the greatest country, the greatest experiment, the greatest land. They're cutting grass. Hopefully, we can drown it out in editing. But no matter what state we're in, there is nowhere, and controversial person, Charlie Kirk. We're not going to talk about him, but we do have. There's a quote that sticks in my mind, from him, and it is, what was it exactly? America is the one country that even the people that hate it don't want to leave. And here's my thing. I think whether Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, whatever Green Party you are, I think what often gets left out is just how patriotic. Sorry, we took a brief hiatus there. But I just think we often forget and confuse opposing viewpoints as not being patriotic and not loving your country. Whereas I believe, even in our worst forms of passion, we all believe in the same thing, just a different way of getting there. I think, and I forget if it was Michelle Obama or who said that we all have a lot more in common than we realize. We all have a lot more in common than what separates us. And I think we too often in America forget that. Yes, we have very different viewpoints on things, and a lot of things change and everything. But we too often get caught up in what's different and what separates us versus what makes America great. And that is our differences. That is some controversial topics here. That is immigration. That is having freedoms, from speech, from religion, from, all these things that I think we take for granted as categories of people. But I also think we often forget that those came at a cost, and we let differences in certain things take away from what's important to recognize. So, what makes America great? Those freedoms, our differences, our experiences, and everything. And if we can just get back to a place circa, I mean, I hate to reference it as a thing, but if we can get back to Wednesday, September 12th, 2001, America, which granted, I can't remember, I was 3 or 4, but there's something about that time, really through 2012, through the second Obama presidency. I think, you have a president that a lot of people don't agree with, a lot of people do agree with. But at least in my opinion, he was a man people could rally behind. And we could still at that point have conversation and air our differences and be like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Now I just think we often, because of how polarizing certain executive branch leaders are, we don't get that anymore in this country. And I truly think we're missing out on that. But that's my little tidbit for America. This is a short episode today, but I just think we do have so many more things in common than what separates us. And if we can get back to an America that recognizes that, I don't think there's too much that can stop us. Back to some fun. I wrote down a little ditty here. My top 10 patriotic country songs. If you need them for America 251, if you need them, Labor Day is coming up. I'm sure there's other holidays that I'm missing, but here's my list of the top 10 patriotic country songs, in my opinion. Number 10, we'll go 10 to 1. American Made by the Oak Ridge Boys. My baby is American made. I love it. And again, some of these are message based, some of these are just a catchy tune. It's a catchy tune. Number 9, message based song, Arlington by Trace Adkins. I remember the first time I heard it, my grandparents had bought that's what I call this is back in the day, that's what I call music CDs. They had a USA one, and Arlington was one of the songs on it. And if you haven't heard it, it's obviously about the Arlington National Cemetery. And it's a tearjerker, in my humblest opinion. If there is a tearjerker, it's Arlington. It's America by Rodney Atkins. Another one that is just both message and it's a catchy song. But I think it hits on the little things that you don't talk about in the political realm that just make America. Song to listen to if you haven't heard it. Made in America by Toby Keith. Another one has some things in there that might ruffle some feathers, but I don't think you have, as you'll hear as we go through the list, I don't think you have a patriotic list without Toby Keith and his messages of supporting America and supporting our troops. Chicken Fried by Zac Brown Band. I don't think you have a summer playlist without that song, let alone a patriotic one. The ending, salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love. I agree, kind of what I was alluding to in our last discussion about those freedoms coming at a cost. Only in America, Brooks and Dunn. Great show song, great song. Again, another one similar to It's America by Rodney Atkins that just describes the American experience and the American story. Now probably this one's a tearjerker. American Soldier by Toby Keith. I don't think I've ever listened to it and not cried. Ragged Old Flag by Johnny Cash. Me and Kate listened to it on the 4th as we were driving into Midland, and I just kind of like, I was ready to, I don't know what I was ready to do, but it's a great song. Poem, mainly it's spoken. God Bless the USA, Lee Greenwood. I know it has some controversial ties to a current executive branch member, but I listened to the message of it, and I think hopefully we would all agree with it. And then number 1, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue by Toby Keith. Name me a better tune. Name me a better just Americana song. And I'll probably tell you you're wrong. That is my list of the top 10 patriotic country songs. We've come to the point again. I said this was a quick episode. It was a short episode. Hopefully you had a great 4th. I will leave you with the big news before we get into we're bringing quotes back today. We have 4 of them, so it may lead to some discussion. But big news out of I Was Thinking with Robbie McElhaney. Today, right before we recorded this episode, we recorded our first Patreon video. So make sure you tune back in next week as we reveal our Patreon memberships and subscriptions and different things like that. That video is going to get worked on. Really excited about it. You'll have to tune in, though, to see what we talk about, what we do on the Patreon. We'll announce some things, and as those memberships grow, you'll find out some more details. I'll leave you with these quotes, all from presidents. President Harry S. Truman. I think when I picked these were all, and I read a big list of presidential quotes. I think these are all quotes that America needs to hear today. From President Truman. It is amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit. Couldn't agree more. Sports. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit. That's the ultimate team quote right there. President Abraham Lincoln. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorns have roses. You got to look at the bright side of things. You have to look at the optimistic side of things, especially in our America today. If we love our country, we should also love our countrymen. President Ronald Reagan. I think, as we kind of alluded to in the prior segment, America is great because the people in it care. If they didn't care, you wouldn't be passionate about certain things. So I think we are great because we care. The best way not to feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope, and you will fill yourself with hope. And that is from President Barack Obama. Hope is what we need. Hope is what the world needs right now. We live in a crazy time. But in this craziness, I don't think, and hopefully you would agree, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else except right in the country that we are. Together, I think we can find a way out of the political stuff and out of the political realm and just be Americans. That's what we need. I hope you ponder that this week. I hope you have a great weekend. And as I said, stay tuned next week. Patreon information is coming out. Make sure you follow us on our social medias. Keep supporting the show. I really appreciate everything that you as the fan base and the viewers do. Hopefully fan base, your viewers, I hope you're a fan of the show. Stay tuned for every Catch podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you stay locked into our social medias. And as always, remember, keep thinking. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.